There we go. That should all be working. Let me get my AirPods. If they are charged. I need to make sure that's all the sound on that's good. While I sort of sort all of this out quickly. What was I doing? YouTube. Yeah, that's cool. Gotta go in here. If I could spell properly, that would be cool. And then just slap that in there. And then that one there. Perfecto. And then it's this one here. And then what was I doing? I was just gonna check make sure that's all good on this one. That should all be good. Yeah, that's all calm, I think. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. The audio is actually working. That's brilliant. That's fantabby-dozy, that. It's fantabby-dozy. Yeah, now big up City, Mohammed. This could be, although I'm not too confident. Because if I go through the lineup today, yeah, like the back line, I don't really have too much of an issue with. Obviously, Donnarumma in goal, John Stones, Ruben Diaz, Vardio, and Nunes. I don't really have too much of an issue with that back line, especially with the players we have available to us. But it's when it comes into the midfield, and I think watching Bernardo, Foden, and Vinders in the midfield, with Vinders being the one that sits the deepest, when we're going to be coming up against players like Onana, Kamara, McGinn, Rogers, very powerful runners, very strong players running through us in the midfield, I think Bernardo, Foden, and Vinders are all going to have a lot of issues with that. So Villa look very dangerous. Just based upon the lineups today, I think Villa look very dangerous when it comes to attacking in transition. And then I look at the front three of Savinho, Bob, and Haaland. I've not been impressed with Savinho at all this season. I think he tries too hard to make things happen. Like, he doesn't understand the tempo of the game or anything to do with any of that. He literally will pick up the ball, run as fast as he can at the defence, try to get a shot off or try to get a cross off. In times where he doesn't need to do that, we'll be in the dying embers of a game where we're 1-0 up. And he won't want to control possession, recycle possession, and put down the clock. He's always just running forward, trying to make something happen. And I do believe that firmly comes from the fact that he doesn't feel like he's good enough to compete for his spot, especially with the form that you've got Doku in, obviously. Then you look at players like Bob, who obviously was injured for a lot of last season, well, the whole of last season, which meant that Savinho was going to get minutes nonetheless. Obviously, Shirky's now back fit and looking to get into this starting 11 somehow. And the weakest link is obviously Savinho, because you look at Foden and Doku's performances, they're basically undroppable at this moment in time. Where else would a Shirky or a Bob get into the team? Obviously, Bob and Shirky are both playing today to give Doku a rest, but I don't know. I just think Savinho, comparing him to the Savinho of last season, I just think he's trying too hard to make things happen, and it's not going according to plan for him. No, it obviously has enough to win this game, right? City's starting a lineup in most games should be enough to win most games, right? But it's the performances and it's the way the players gel. Now, I cut Bob a lot of slack. Obviously, his performances haven't been exceptional to start the season, but I cut him a lot of slack because he's missed a lot of football over the last year. But I just think playing both him and Savinho, two players that haven't been able to find their feet at all this season, I think it's risky to play both of them. Like I'm all for playing one or the other, but I think playing both of them when neither of them are in great form, especially when you need Haaland to be getting service, and when you look at Bernardo and Reinders behind him, if Reinders is sitting in the six, Haaland's not going to get the service from Reinders as well that he's been getting, obviously, in parts of the games before. You know, it's just interesting. I don't really see where we're going to be creating chances consistently today, if I'm honest. And obviously, I want to be proven wrong. Again, I do think that Savinho and Bob are good enough to start for Manchester City on the wings. I know that they've got the talent to start for City on the wings. And I know when they fulfill that potential, they're definitely good enough to play for City. But in this current moment and the football they've played in the last few weeks to start this season, like the first few months of the season, I haven't overly been impressed with them. Yeah, obviously Savinho got an assist, has got two assists. If I could speak, 2 assists in his last game. But I don't know. I think with Savinho, right? Savinho is one of those players where he will get assists, right? And you know, I very much value that from a winger, especially with some of the goals and assist numbers our wingers have put up in recent years, right? But I think sometimes when I'm watching Savinho, he's just really annoying to watch, really frustrating to watch, because I just feel like he just needs to slow it down sometimes, right? If Savinho was to just work on his finishing a little bit and just play at the tempo of the match and not play 100 miles per hour, like you see Doku, right? Doku does not play the game at 100 miles per hour all the time. Even Sane didn't play the game at 100 miles per hour. Same with Sterling, right? Mahrez and Grealish never really got up to 100 miles per hour. They're not the quickest wingers, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Like, City wingers of the past would never play the game at just 100 miles per hour 24/7. I think that's where Savinho goes wrong most of the time. His feet are moving a lot quicker than his mind's moving, and that's why you'll see him get dispossessed approaching the final third, because he's not even made up his mind of what he wants to do yet. And you see him, he's still just run. He doesn't take time to slow it down. As soon as he's in full flow, he's just there, and that's kind of where it's staying. And that's kind of really my main sort of issue with him. I think it is just a tempo thing, because there have been times where we've conceded of chances late on in games because he's still just running at 100 miles per hour with a higher intensity than everybody else on the pitch, which is fine. But if you're making your way up the pitch at 100 miles per hour and you've got no one catching up with you, you have to at some point slow down. And I just feel like he doesn't do that. But I'm always happy for Savinho to prove me wrong. He's a player that I like. I do have a bit of a bad taste in my mouth after the stuff in the summer and him sort of trying to push a move. I didn't really like that, and I feel like he needed to start the season a lot better than he has to justify that sort of behaviour, if I'm totally honest. But, you know, I do want both him and Bob to succeed. Like, there's nobody in the starting lineup today that I think isn't good enough to play for Manchester City. Maybe aside from Bernardo Silva, where I think that he is really at the end of where he can take Manchester City, sort of going forward anyway, and obviously we all know that. But apart from him, which is quite obvious given his age and how long he's been at the club, there's nobody else in the team where I think you're not good enough to play. It's just whether the consistency and everything is there, if I'm honest. So I'm hoping it's a quite comfortable game. I've not been too impressed by Villa in the games I've watched them play, if I'm totally honest. I think I watched them against Sunderland. I watched a bit of the Spurs game, where they weren't too bad, but they're not like great. They don't blow me away, and they don't scare me in sort of the same way that they did last season or the season before. But I still do know that they're a very good team, and they could cause us some problems, especially at Villa Park. I don't know. The thing is, when it comes to both Rodrigo and Leao, when I look at them both, I see them both in the sort of same way that I look at sort of Savinho and Rodrigo. I don't see those two wingers from everything that I've seen from those two. I don't see them as as elite wingers because I just don't see them as that consistent. Like, it's even when I look at Salah, right? When you look at someone like Salah, yes, even when he's not having a good game, 9 out of 10 times he'll get a goal, and that goal can be the difference. And I think sometimes you do just need that, right? You have players that even when they're not playing the best game, they chip in with a goal and an assist. And I just feel like our wingers don't do that. Our wingers will only do that if they're playing exceptional. And I kind of feel the same way when I watch Leao or Rodrigo. But when I even look at Sterling, Sterling could play an absolute honking 90 minutes of football and he'd come away with a goal. The same with Salah. Even the same with Saka, really. I've seen Saka stink it up on the football pitch and him come out of that game with a goal or an assist. But I just don't feel like I get that with our current wingers. Which is a tad bit concerning, I'd say. But, that I think that's the only real issue I have with the City team as a whole. Maybe other than the fullback positions. I think the fullback positions can be a bit iffy sometimes, but other than that, it probably just is the the 4 wide positions, the 2 on each side. I think that could do with a bit of work. But again, we're yet to see barely any of our new signings. Right, the only new signing that we've made in the past 2 transfer windows now that we see on a consistent basis is Reinders. Obviously, Kusanov injured, Marmoush injured. Nico Gonzalez now injured. Aït-Nouri injured. Shirky just come back from injury. Actually, I think Omar's back from injury now as well, actually, now that I think about it. And obviously, Bettinelli is a third choice goalkeeper. Like, you were never going to see him play. And obviously, Reyes is out on loan at Girona. But yeah, I just feel like we don't see a lot of our new signings due to a few unfortunate circumstances and some strange team selection towards the end of last season. So I think when we do have a fully strengthened squad back, we could probably refine a lot of the issues that I've probably had in the last few weeks because, I know us City fans don't like to admit when you see people like Paul Mercer and stuff say that like City aren't that good, it's just Haaland carrying, but that is happening is happening in games. There are games, like I look at the Monaco game where we drew 2-2. The only person that I felt played particularly well in an attacking sense was Haaland. Obviously, he got the 2 goals. I do think we do struggle in an attacking sense outside of Haaland. Obviously, none of our attackers other than Haaland have over a goal. That needs to change at some point. That has to change. It fundamentally has to change. Whether that changes when Marmoush comes back from injury, whether that changes when Shirky's back in the starting 11, because I think Foden's performances this season have been great, right? But the issue with Foden's performances this season is he's playing a slightly different role, a slightly more important role in the game when it comes to controlling tempo and the midfield than he did in 23-24. But what that takes away is the fact that he was an incredible goal threat. Because Foden doesn't turn and shoot every time he's on the edge of the box now. And we know that he's dangerous from just outside the box, curling a goal in. We know he's dangerous at that. We saw that against Manchester United, the 3-0 win after Rashford scored that goal. We saw that against West Ham on the final day of the season. Like, we were seeing how dangerous he is from shooting from the edge of the box. We don't really see that much in his game this season. I think the only game where he was really going for goal quite a bit was against Brentford, and obviously that's probably because he scores basically every time we go to Brentford's ground, so he thought he was due the goal. But other than that, you don't really see Foden take that many shots. I think the person that I see take the most shots that's not Haaland is probably Reinders, and all of Reinders' shots are first time, and except for the one against Wolves, he hasn't obviously scored, I think. So obviously, we're going to get to a point where Haaland's completely marked out of the game, which is to be expected. Every Premier League team should be marking the other team's striker, especially if they're a 9 out of the game. It just makes complete sense, right? Especially when they've got Haaland's goal-scoring ability. So someone needs to start chipping in with the goals. I don't know who. I don't really care who, but someone needs to, because Haaland's goal-scoring rate just isn't sustainable, because you just can't do it no matter how good you are. No, yeah, 100%. I wouldn't say Haaland's carrying us full stop. I think people like Donnarumma, like Nico O'Reilly, like Vardio, like Vinders, even Mateus Nunes in some games. You know, they've been good across the field, right? But when it comes to the forward line, obviously Doku, Foden, and Savinho are chipping in with assists, but none of them look like scoring. None of them really look like scoring. Um, and that's kind of is my main issue. None of them pose a goal threat. It's Haaland or nothing. But I do really hope to be proved wrong in this game. Obviously, Bernardo scored. Bernardo scored midweek, so hopefully that's he scored our last goal. So hopefully that's a good sign. O'Reilly should be starting for me. I mean, I can understand why you said that, but at the same time, I think it is not ideal for O'Reilly to start every game, is it? Because we see, and this is what happens now. Fans in the Premier League, especially, get carried away with youngsters and kind of forget their age and how to develop a player. And that's why you look at all of England's most important talent, best talent, right? Jude Bellingham, 22? Cole Palmer, 23? Xhaka's around 24. And Foden's obviously 25, right? You look at the amount of game time all of these players have played. Jude Bellingham just sort of is fizzling out because he's played too much games. He's picking up recurring injuries. Saka, again, is finding himself spending more and more time on the touchline due to the amount of football he's played. Cole Palmer, you look, Enzo Maresca was rushing him back from injury due to the importance he had on the team. So as much as I do believe O'Reilly should be starting because he's our best left back we have available, he can't start every game because it just doesn't. It's not beneficial, like, long term. It's a short term solution because he's very, very good at football, but long term we do want to sort of rotate him as much as possible. If that makes sense, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where he's played like an absurd amount of games by the age of 22 and he just can't do it anymore, because that is becoming a more occurring sort of issue in English football at the moment because of the over reliance on young academy players, and sort of the reluctance to drop them, I think is sort of something that we see quite a lot. Yeah, true. Savinho's shooting it leaves a lot to be desired, because the issue with Savinho is, yeah, he'll produce a moment of individual brilliance when it comes to taking on a few defenders, and then he'll just ruin it with a shot because it'll be one of the worst shots you've ever seen. And it is kind of Sterling-esque, because I do remember there were times where I'd watch Sterling shoot and I'd just think to myself, how do you consistently bang over 20 goals, 30 goals in all competitions? Because that technique was appalling. And obviously I'm not saying that Savinho is on Sterling's sort of finishing level, because he's not. But like it's kind of is that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. Sterling started his decline at such a young age because he'd been playing Premier League football since he was 17, right? I think he was 17 and he was playing like 24 Premier League games for Liverpool, and then it just didn't stop because he was so important to City. For all of those years, he was a mainstay in the England squad, and then look, he goes to Chelsea, he plays at Arsenal as well, and it goes downhill because he just couldn't compete at that level anymore. It wasn't possible. And that's kind of why he's at his thing now. Like, people say he's washed at such a young age, but he's probably played the same amount of football that somebody that would have started later on in their career and would have went into their mid-30s sort of playing at the top level. So it's like, it's one of those things. And again, going back to when I was talking about the English talent, it's not just English talent as well. Spain are bad for it because, well, I say Spain are bad for it. Barcelona are bad for it, with obviously Lamine Yamal and Pedri, obviously Gavi as well. And it would have been the same for Fati if he didn't get that first injury that sort of really did derail his career. I say derail, it's not like he's bad, but like, you know, he was destined for big things at Barcelona, and then he got that injury. I can't remember exactly what it was that sort of kept him out for a while, and then he went to Brighton, and now he finds himself at Monaco, not really being able to do too much to try push to get into that front line of Barcelona, because at the moment their front line is terrifying, very much so. I think the only way to stop Barcelona is just by absolutely abusing that high line that Hansi Flick is insistent on playing. What was I doing? Oh, I was getting the. That's what I was doing. I remember now. But yeah, remember, like the stream if you haven't already. Put some score predictions in the chat. We're about 2 minutes or so away from kickoff. I put my prediction out on Twitter. It was 2-1 Villa. Unfortunately, I just think the fact that we're at Villa Park and the midfield that we've put out compared to the midfield that they have, I think it could be a long day for City. But obviously, I really do hope to be proven wrong. And we do have enough talent on the pitch to go out there and make a difference. I think I've basically fixed the squeaking in my chair as well. I don't know if it's not 100% gone, but it's not as bad when I lean back now. I think I might just invest in a new chair. I think this one's beyond saving. I think this one may just be a tad beyond saving. It's also a disgusting red colour. I think I need a blue one. I think it would just fit with the whole aesthetic of the room a tad bit better than the red, but who knows. We've got the teams coming out now. A few of the lads look like they mean business. Vardio, Diaz, Oro farming as per usual. Donnarumma bowling as per usual. But yeah, no, this is a obviously very, very big kickoff. Obviously, you've got Arsenal playing at home against a very informed Crystal Palace side. Obviously, disappointed to lose in Europe midweek. And obviously, very disappointed not to win. Obviously, last weekend at Bournemouth, where Mateta could have had an exceptional 4 goals, but he missed that absolute sitter late on in the game. You can't really fault him because he scored a hat-trick, but at the same time, that would have been a legendary performance from him if he was able to put that one in the back of the net. So yeah, hopefully he can keep his shooting boots on again in the Premier League today and cause Arsenal an upset. But, you know, the main thing we can do is just focus on this game and not worry too much about what's going on at the Emirates and just get sort of ourselves over the line today. Obviously, they're going through the Villa lineup now. Obviously, Unai Emery picks Martinez in goal. Backline of Mati Cash, Ezri Konsa, Pau Torres and Luca Digne, to be expected really. Midfield of Boubacar Kamara and Amadou Onana, Amadou not Andre. Then you got Jean McGinn, Emi Buendia and Morgan Rogers. I'd usually say why are you putting Emi Buendia in the scene, but he's found some good form recently, so you know I can't knock it too much. And then obviously the main man Ollie Watkins up top with players like Lindelof, Mings, Barkley, Malen, Sancho, and Maatsen on the bench. And then obviously we get to the City lineup that you can see on the side of my screen there. Pep Guardiola obviously is your manager. Donnarumma in goal. A backline of John Stones, Ruben Dias, Vardio and Mateus Nunes. Vardio playing left back today instead of Nico O'Reilly. Then you've got Vinder sitting in the 6th position with Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva in front of him, with Savinho and Bob either side of those two. And obviously up top is your number 9, the best striker in the world, Erling Haaland, hoping to add to his goal scoring tally today. The only issue is Mbappe's run of scoring in consecutive games ended midweek and Kane's ended yesterday, I think. So hopefully it's not the same for Haaland today, but obviously only time will tell. We're now approaching kickoff at Villa Park, where hopefully City can put in a good performance. But yeah, as I said earlier, I'm not too hopeful on that. Villa's top goal scorers in the last 3 games are Marlon with 2, Buendia with 1, Rodgers with one, Watkins with one, and McGinn with one. You look at City's, and it will literally just be Haaland, Haaland, Nunes. I think it would just be Haaland and Nunes really. I think who have scored our last few goals in the Premier League. Obviously, in all competitions, it would be Haaland, Nunes, and Bernardo Silva. Yeah, so yeah, got that all correct. To be fair, I'm still kind of in disbelief that Liverpool lost again yesterday. Like, I know we did something very similar last season, but I honestly wasn't, like, the cracks in our team were there, right? Were there, obviously the season before, and we just kind of didn't address them in the transfer window. But I honestly thought Liverpool, I didn't think they'd gel very quickly, but at the same time, I didn't think they'd be as bad as they have been. They've been shocking, but we know when it's time for them to come to the Etihad, they'll turn a new leaf. And they'll come back to winning ways. But there we are. We're underway. Haaland gets us underway at Villa Park. City are in our absolutely disgusting third kit. Villa in their home kit. And here we go. Ooh, right, Bob with a nice pass inside to Foden. Foden whips one back out to Vardiol, who passes it up the field to Savinho. Savinho cuts inside. Nice little pass back to Guardiola. I can see this game is probably just going to be a lot of pass around the back to begin with. And City just trying to force gaps with Villa's pressing. But I do think it's a dangerous game to play, especially away from home at a ground like Villa Park. You think of the grounds you don't really want to go to in the Premier League, being Villa Park, Anfield, St James's Park, obviously the Emirates as well now, especially obviously a few years ago you'd happily go to the Emirates, but the Emirates now, you don't want to go to Anfield, you don't want to go to Villa Park, you don't want to go to St James's Park, and obviously we don't want to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think Vardiol has just put that one out for a Villa throwing. Didn't actually see who that ball came off last, but I'm going to guess it was Joskar Vardiol. There we are. So Villa have the throw-in now out on their left side. It's intercepted by Nunes, but it does go out for another throw-in further up the pitch. So Villa have made some ground on that throw-in. Again, it's Luca Dean to take it. I imagine this is going to be the long throw, with obviously that one being very much in style at the moment, which would be very, very worrying if we still had Edison in goal. But I do trust Donnarumma from set pieces. Is it going to be time for me to eat my words? No, because Haaland heads it out. And is that Matty Cat? No, that was Emi Buendia. I don't know how I've just mistaken Matty Cash and Emi Buendia, but here we go. Hits a nice little volley, but he doesn't connect with it well. Like, it's, you know, it's if you make sweet contact with that makes for a hell of a goal, but he's not made the contact he wanted with it, and it's flown over the bar for a City goal kick to be taken by Ruben Diaz of all people. Well, every time I do one of these watch-alongs, I feel like Diaz is in possession more than anybody else. Foden, now Vinders, now Foden coming forward with runners ahead of him, one of them being Bernardo Silva. He finds Bernardo Silva, who helps it on to Savinho. Savinho runs at Cash, then cuts back, then runs at Cash again, gets the cross in, but it's straight into Emi Martinez's hands. There wasn't he put that in front of the keeper, but Haaland had already dropped off, similar to how he did for his first goal against Everton. And yeah, Savinho just puts it straight into the gloves of Emi Martinez, and Villa can get the ball back. But Bernardo Silva just won it from Onana, and now after a bit of scrappy play, we find it with Nunes, who finds Foden, who's getting closed down very quickly, then finds Vinders, who finds Vardiol. Vardiol goes out to Savinho. Savinho runs at Cash again, and then goes at Cash again, gets the better of Cash, gets the cross in, cut back, but it's intercepted by I think that was Kamara, who can get it out to John McGinn or is that Buendia? No, that is Buendia, who then plays it through to Watkins, who's doesn't get to the ball first. It's Ruben Diaz is able to poke it back to Donnarumma, and City can build up from the back here with Vardiol. Some people say I look like Vardiol. I don't know if I 100% see it, but he's one of the better players in the City team to be told you look like. But anyway, we've got Savinho now. I've seen quite a bit of the ball. Savinho keeps running that Cash, then plays it through to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva plays it across goal, but nobody's there to meet it, and it's going to go out for a Villa throw-in. Martinez puts his hand up to say that it was offside, but I'm not too sure on that. No, he is onside. He's being played on by Ezri Konsa, I believe. Yeah, that is Ezri Konsa. He was being played onside by Ezri Konsa. He got into a good position, very good sort of overlapping run, or underlapping run, whatever you want to call it. But again, no one's there to meet it back post. And again, that's just kind of the thing. It's like, if it's not getting to Haaland in the middle, who else is going to... Speaking of getting to... Savinho played a pass through. But Martinez gets there before Haaland. But yeah, as I was kind of saying, if the ball doesn't go to Haaland in the middle from one of these cutbacks across the box, there's never anybody at the far post to tap that home. Never ever. And that's kind of the issue we're finding. Like I said before the match, if it's not Haaland, then who? See, you're pressing high up to disrupt Villa every time they try to play out from the back, and so far it's working. We got Bernardo Silva on the ball. Now it's Nunes, Foden, Oscar Bob. Time to run at Digne. He finds Vinders. Vinders looks to shoot. Does shoot. Puts it over the bar. I saw that coming from a mile away. I knew he wasn't getting that one on target. I knew as soon as he did that thing. Obviously, Company did it when he scored that goal against Leicester. As soon as you see a player stutter before they hit it, you know the pass isn't coming off. You know they're just gonna absolutely pellet at the goal. And he does, and yeah, it wasn't dipping quick enough. It wasn't dipping quick enough. It eventually starts going down, but that's only after it just goes over the crossbar. So it's an okay attempt, but he should probably be doing better there, because there wasn't exactly much pressure on him from the Villa midfielders. But we've got the ball back now, overthrown from Vardiol. If we're going to ever take it. He does. He throws it back to Diaz. Plays across the field past to Foden, who picks it up in a bit of space. He cuts back. Plays it back again to Diaz. Surprise, surprise, Diaz is on the ball again. Who finds a Nunes. Nunes to Foden. Foden on the turn. Passes it inside to Bob, who gets it straight back to Foden. And Foden's got space to gallop into here. And then he plays a brilliant pass out to No, it wasn't. At first, that looked like an excellent pass out to Bob, but he just wasn't getting there. He tries to keep it in play, but slips as he keeps it in play and puts it out for a Villa throw-in. That had some potential. That really did have some potential, and then it just kind of got to, as Bob was approaching the ball, and it kind of spiraled out of control. But that was some good play by Foden. That's exactly what I want to see him doing, like picking up the ball in pockets on the turn and just sort of driving into space and making the defenders and the midfielders commit to create space for Haaland or the winger on either side. Because if we're just passing the ball round on the edge of the box, no one really has to make that much of a decision, which means there's not space opening up for the attackers. But when you've got someone that can shoot from distance like Foden, you do need to close him down, because you know he's got it in his locker to put it top bins. Which we've seen at Villa Park, but I think it was at Villa Park, it was at the Etihad when he scored that hat-trick. I can't remember what ground that one was at, but that third goal was absolutely beautiful. Now we've got Foden. Plays Haaland. Haaland manages to somehow keep the ball, and it now goes to Nunes. It's nice Diaz. Bernardo Silva tries to knock it back to Savinho, and it does. He keeps it in play. Fair play. I thought that one was rolling out. You could tell the surface is a bit slippy today. I don't really know what the weather's like up in Birmingham, or if they've just had the sprinklers on, but there have been a few players slip. But now the ball's being played through Haaland. No, Matty Cash gets there first. That probably... I'd say if Bernardo Silva wasn't in the position he was in, there was more of a chance for Haaland to get that ball. But because Bernardo was where he was stood, Cash was obviously in prime position to intercept that ball. Stones has now given away the ball. high up the pitch, trying to feint past. I think that was Kamara. And now you've got McGinn, who plays one through to Watkins, but he's put too much on it. Watkins had the beating of Diaz there, and it looked for a second like Watkins was going to be in, and then the ball bounced and it went straight into Donnarumma's hands. Sort of no drama really. Now you got Bernardo Silva. Vinders. It's been an interesting 10 minutes. Playing 10 minutes or so to this game, I will say. I don't know if you guys have too much of an opinion on it. I've just realised this chat's not been on the screen this whole time. My apologies. I don't know if you guys have too much of an opinion on what's sort of transpired so far in this game, if you are watching along with me. But you know, it's not been our worst start to a game this season. But I just think some of the attack positioning from our forward players could be better. But that's beautiful dribbling from Bob, and then he finds Foden, and then Foden goes for the reverse. Bob couldn't get the right side of Digne, and then it's cleared. It's only as far as Vardiol, who gets it out to Savinho, who can now run at Cash. He does run at Cash. He gets the cross in. He barely gets the cross in. He puts it out for a goal kick. But yeah, no, that was some good play by Bob and Foden out on the right side. It was very unlucky for Bob not to get to the sort of reverse pass. But we are going to need to start taking our chance at some point, because we are controlling a lot of the ball, and we are smothering them with a press when they try to build up from the back. But as we've seen from a few of their passes, they are very much susceptible. We're very much susceptible to being hit on the counter, especially by a team like Villa that have players that can run forward with pace and power, like McGinn. Very, very strong runner with the ball. Morgan Rogers, again, another strong runner with the ball. Very technically gifted, but also athletically gifted as well, players that can run forward, which isn't exactly something we have in the midfield. We have a lot of technically gifted players, but physically gifted, not really Manchester City's forte nowadays anyway, especially with players like De Bruyne gone, Rodri not in the team, obviously Walker not in the team either. Like, our more physical players are sort of gone. You only really have Haaland, Vardiol, Stones and Diaz that are really strong, the strong players in this team today. The rest of them, again, quite small and technically gifted. But we are putting on a good show with the press here. We're playing a very, very high line, though, which could easily be exploited by one over-the-top ball, especially with the pace that Diaz possesses. It isn't the greatest. If Watkins is next to Diaz and that long ball goes over the top, it's a long day. If Vardiol can't get across, it's a long day, because you know Diaz isn't catching him. But we've tried to play the offside trap a few times here. Watkins sort of almost has the better of Diaz there by cutting across from him from an offside position before Cash gets the pass off, but Cash overhits it and puts it out for a City goal kick. We've panicked a little bit here trying to get this one out, but it is headed down nicely by Haaland, who finds Bernardo Silva, who then gets it back to Haaland, who finds Vardiol. Vardiol to Savinho. Savinho has time and space to run forward. Tries to play it to Haaland, and it's intercepted by Matty Cash. But it did go out for a throw, and City do have the ball again. But I'm not overly impressed with the start that Savinho's made to this game. I'd say Bob and Savinho haven't been brilliant to start this game for two different reasons. I'd say Bob's getting in the right positions, but he's not fast enough to get to the ball. And Savinho is sort of, again, like I said, he's getting in the positions, but his final decision, like, you know, the final stage of the move in the final third just isn't there, is it? City look to press again, but Onana beats it with a pass to Buendia, and then Villa forced to go backwards. And now Stones picks up the ball for City. He gets it to Vinders. Vinders is then pickpocketed by Kamara, but it's now Vardiol who gets it to Diaz. Back to Vinders, and now Vardiol. Vardiol hits one forward, and now it's Bernardo Silva. He tries to... I don't know what he was thinking. Did he know where Haaland was? I'm going to guess not, because that was an awful pass. Villa have a bit of a mix-up at the back, but they do come away with it, and it's now Rogers. Tries to flick it over Stones. Doesn't, but still keeps the ball, and now it's Emi Buendia with Watkins ahead of him. And Watkins looks to sort of face up Nunes, gets the better of him with a step over and a cutback. And now it's Ollie Watkins. City deal with it just about. But we don't get the ball out at all. We pump one up to Haaland, but it goes to Pau Torres instead. He heads it down and Villa have the ball again. And we don't really look too interested in pressing them when they're in our own half. We're lucky just to sit back and wait for them to make the mistake, which they almost have there with Onana. He looks the least press resistant here, so Foden and Bernardo are definitely going to want to target him because it looks like he takes a loose touch every time he picks up the ball. So he'd be the one that I target with the press especially. There has been a goal at Molineux, but I don't know. Well, Burnley have taken the lead. Yeah, that's dark. Wolves are going down. You can't beat. No, that's dark. That's hideous. Wolves and West Ham are. Yeah, it's not looking good for them. It's not. But I'm not going to talk too much. We're at 0-0. Well, I'm not going to talk too much now, but it's looking spooky for those two teams, which is a shame, really, because I have quite a fondness for both of them. I wouldn't say either of them are teams that I dislike. And obviously, Sunderland are flying at the moment. So with Sunderland flying and two established Premier League teams playing absolutely underwhelming football, you've got to think to yourself, Savini's just giving away a foul on Matty Cash. You've got to think to yourself, Forest as well, is Sean Dyche going to be able to steady the ship, or could we see all three newly promoted teams stay up? Like, I'm not 100% convinced by Leeds. I'd probably say they look the weakest of the three. I'm actually quite surprised by some of the performances Burnley have put in, especially with the fact that I do not rate Scott Parker as a Premier League manager at all. I think he's the perfect Championship manager, but I've never seen it from him in the Premier League to be wowed by him. I always think that he's extremely poor in the Premier League, but he's doing some stuff at Burnley right now that I've got to appreciate. Obviously Sunderland flying, Leeds again not 100% convinced by, but there are definitely worse teams than them in the league. Emi Buendia has now just skipped past 3 City players, and he plays it to Morgan Rogers, who takes a bad touch, but he slips it to Watkins, who then also doesn't take a convincing touch. Shot by Digne, and it is kind of cleared by City. No, not really, because there's been a mix-up on the ball there between Foden and Oscar Bob, and Matty Cash can bring the ball forward and get it to John McGinn. Yeah, we're not looking great in these last 3 or 4 minutes. It's like literally the game has just flipped on its head. We're now extremely vulnerable to pressing, and we're not winning any second balls. Our clearances are awful. We just can't get the ball out and steady the ship again, which is very, 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 very disappointing. If I'm going to be honest. My clock is just a tad bit ahead, so I might need to change it. Actually, you know what? No, it's only a few seconds. It should be fine. It's usually behind, but we've got a ball over the top for... Ooh, Vardiol. Ooh, that was an over the top ball for Rogers. Vardiol's seen it down, tried to flick it over Matty Cash's head, and just hasn't been successful. Matty Cash retrieved the ball, but Villa have went backwards and now have the ball in their own half. Pau Torres has played an excellent ball over the top to Digne, and he could easily pick out Watkins here. He doesn't, but did Nunes put that ball out, or did Digne? It looks to me, by the way Nunes is reacting, it looks like they've given a corner. But is he the one that puts it out? Yes, he is. I don't know why he's protesting. He's clearly the one that's put that one out. So Villa get the first corner of the game around 18 minutes into this game. See Aston Villa 0, City 0, as you can see at the top left of your screen. There are some big lads in that box, but we do have some players that should be quite comfortable with dealing with this. Digne goes out to take the corner. He goes short. And now Rogers. Cash. 1-0, Matty Cash. 1-0 Villa, Matty Cash scores. If it lets me. Yep, there we are. 1-0 Matty Cash. That's awful. That is horrific from Manchester City. Let's look at this again, right? Let's look at this again. Let's get Matty Cash's celebration out of the way, and let's actually break this down, right? Can't stand Matty Cash, but so the short corner comes in. Matty Cash takes one touch, takes Bernardo Silva out the game. Haaland's not quick enough to come out and meet it. But yeah, Bernardo Silva taken absolutely out the game. Diaz, I don't know why he's tried to block the ball like that. He should have just jumped in front of it, but no, instead he's sort of kneeled down to try block it. Donnarumma's been wrong-footed. I'm guessing because he can't see the ball travelling through Haaland and Diaz, so he's been left stationary. Matty Cash gets the shot off. It is a good shot. It doesn't take a deflection, goes clean through and finds the back of the net. But defensively, the way we've dealt with that corner is disgraceful. And we find ourselves 1-0 down at Villa Park. And that's not really a position you want to find yourself in as a football club, is it? So that's disappointing. We definitely should have capitalised on all the possession we had in the first sort of 15 minutes of this game. And now we find ourselves 1-0 down after a string of good counter-attacks from Villa, and we concede due to a poor defending of a set piece. Oscar Bob's now being dispossessed, and now it's Emi Buendia. Pau Torres. He plays a ball forward to Watkins. Watkins holds it up and gets round Diaz, and now it's Matty Cash again with space to run into down the right flank. He tries to put a ball in, and it is claimed by Donnarumma, but yeah, it's poor. That was extremely poor defending from that set piece, and I'm not happy with that in the slightest, and I doubt Pep Guardiola will be either. We just got to kick on from that now. We haven't went behind that much recently, but we just kind of see how we're going to have to react to it. Bernardo Silva's played through, and then he plays it to Haaland. Haaland bears down on goal hit, and Emi Buendia saves it. You think you can bet your house on that. Erling Haaland's bearing down on goal. Green grass to run into. Excellent touch by Bernardo Silva to play Haaland through. Haaland looks to literally just shift the ball with the low-driven sort of shot into the bottom corner of Emi Martinez's goal. But Martinez has clearly been doing his homework, and he gets down quickly to stop the shot. Yeah, you think for all of the world Erling Haaland scoring that, especially with the form that he's in. But no, it's a tame shot and also a good save by Martinez. Now Konza struggles to get this out from the back as he's pressed by Bernardo Silva. But Kamara tries to get it out, but it's McGinn gets the ball stuck at his feet, but it does go out for another Aston Villa throw-in. I'm very shocked to see how Bernardo Silva sort of was able to pick up the space that he just did there for that Haaland chance. It was a very weird place for him to sort of pick the ball up. Obviously, I'm not complaining. Like a chance came from it, a chance we should have done better with. But it was very weird to see him up in the 9 position, not being really marked by any of the centre backs, with the centre backs sort of just either side of him, with him just space to run into. Very, very strange positioning from the Villa back line. But yeah, Matty Cash gets his second goal of the season. Oh, it wasn't a throw-in even. It's been given as a free kick to City. Phil Foden steps over it. Hopefully we can now get a goal back from a set piece. It's whipped in, and it's straight into Martinez's hands. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic. Martinez hits a long ball forward to try find John McGinn breaking away down the right side, but is intercepted by a team effort of Vardiol and Savinho. Now it's Vinders, finds Vardiol. Now it's Nunez. Remember, guys, if you haven't liked the stream already, give that one a like. Especially if you're not a City fan, because I can imagine if you're an Arsenal fan, you're very happy with the way this is going right now. But then again, I can't imagine any Arsenal fans are watching this because your team's on telly right now. So But, you know, we got Savinho on the ball now. Oh, he's run straight into Matty Cash. He made it so obvious what was going on there. But Matty Cash has then just tried to take the ball forward, and he's been dispossessed by Savinho. And now Savinho finds himself in the box. He cuts it back, misses literally everybody. Foden and Bob couldn't decide who wanted to run out to that. And now Morgan Rogers picks it up, and he can go up the other end with the ball. John Stones, now a foul's been given away. That's actually appalling. That's disgraceful. That's disgraceful. Make up your mind. Who's going for that ball? Who wants that ball? Because it seemed very much like there. Neither Foden was like, nah, Bob, I don't want it. You can have it. And he's like, nah, Foden, you have that. Neither of them wanted it. And then Morgan's like, yeah, you know what, lads? I'll take that off your hands. Don't worry about it. Like, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? This isn't the academy days anymore, man. He's not running onto it to pass either of you the ball. He's looking to go up the other end. You know what I'm trying to say? Still Villa 1, City 0. Kamara is being pressed by Vinders, and he does win a foul. This is brilliant. This is brilliant stuff. This is top notch stuff. What you're watching right here, boys. Like, I haven't actually been that frustrated watching City in a good few weeks, but this is poor. This is poor. Like, the last time I was really frustrated watching City was when we played Monaco, which I obviously did live here on the channel as well. So maybe I just need to stop doing watchalongs, because it's just not. It seems to not be beneficial for my mental health. But here we are. Buendia picks up the ball. He tries to cut it back. Gets pressed high by Nunes. Nunes being very physical with him and could potentially give away a free kick here. Doesn't. Gives away a throw-in instead. Not enjoying this whatsoever. This has not been a pleasant viewing. Like, after that first 10 minutes of dominance, this has not been a pleasant viewing from City at all. Villa with a cross in, headed out by Vinders, but again, no City players there to meet in. It's Matty Cash again. He goes backwards and gets it to Kamara, who then goes even further back to find Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez pumps it forward. We do have a Villa player on the floor holding his face. I'm not too sure who that is. That might be Buendia, I think. It is Emi Buendia, who looks to be down injured potentially. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if he was just down to try break up the play a little bit, or what's happened here, but nah, he looks like he's clipped his, I'm gonna guess, his ankle or his heel, because he's taken his boot off. So I'm not, I didn't see what happened. I wasn't really sort of in the know of what's just happened there, but yeah. We're going to get a replay, or is it sort of like an off-the-ball incident? There has been a goal in the Bournemouth Forest game, and it looks like it's a Bournemouth goal from a corner here, as that went straight in from the corner. Fair play. Tavernier scored straight from the corner. That's poor from Forest. That's poor from a Forest point of view. You don't want to be conceding something like that. But at the same time, I can't say much, because the goal we conceded was extremely poor defensively as well. But at least it wasn't straight from a corner, I guess, because that would have sent me through the roof. Well, they're replaying the goal again. Yeah, so Foden goes out for the short corner. Buendia's able to pass it. Like, why is there nobody out? It gets worse and worse every time you see it, because why is there nobody there? Nobody has any interest in picking up Matty Cash there. Nobody at all. It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Is play back underway? No, Buendia is... Yeah, it looks like Buendia is going to go off here. And he will be coming on... he will be coming off for Jadon Sancho. Now if Jadon Sancho scores, the crash out will be real. So we just need to sort of avoid that happening at any chance. I think we just need to go at the other end, score a goal, maybe 2, maybe 3. And it needs to be someone other than Haaland. And we just need to stop Sancho from scoring, because I feel like I don't need that in my life. Vardio is now giving away a free kick against John McGinn. Still Villa 1, City 0 as we approach the half an hour mark of the game. Around 15 minutes left of the first half. There obviously will be some stoppage time due to the injury there to Buendia. City press Villa with not much intensity, if I'm honest. Like, we've pinned them back, but they're still comfortable on the ball every time one of them picks up the ball. Yeah, that's appalling. Reinders needs to want that ball. Nunes needs to want that ball as well. And now they've got Watkins in, and he's one-on-one with Diaz, and he's about to get inside of Diaz. It's cut back to Sancho, Kamara, McGinn, and it's just wide. But again, like, just Villa look like they're gonna score every time they come forward. What is this? What is this defending? It's poor from Nunes out there. Diaz has got no idea where Watkins is over his left shoulder. It's cut back. It's a good block from Stones. And then Sancho gets it back to Kamara, who plays a beautiful no-look pass to McGinn. He's got time and space to hit the shot, but he kind of hits it. Takes one touch, hits it, and then drags it far. Does it deflect off Stones? Is that a corner? I'm not too sure if I think that is a corner. It's been given as a corner, but I'm not too sure if that actually did hit off Stones or not. I'd need to see that again. It looked like it did, but I'm not like 100. I'm not 100% sure. It's a corner nonetheless. Hopefully we can defend this one a little bit better. Digne goes out to it again. This one looks like it's going to go in the box. It does. Villa get to it first. Then it's Watkins takes a shot. And it's back out on the edge of the box with Kamara. He finds McGinn. Hits a cross in the box. It drops for Foden. He's got Matty chasing him. Digne chasing him down even. He gets it inside to Savinho. Savinho back to Nunes. Let's try like get a foot back into this game, lads. Get stamp our sort of authority back on the game here. Now it's Oscar Bob picks up in the middle. Great turn. Oscar Bob. He's going to have to pass back. He's got no space to run into in front of him. Finders. Nice pass out to Foden, who finds Savinho. Foden's too busy complaining at the ref to not even know what's going on behind him. Now it's Diaz. Vardio. Out to Savinho. Savinho can run at Cash. Does. Gets the cross in. Again, the first person to get there is in claret and blue. And now it's Rodgers to break away. He finds Watkins, who finds Rodgers again. He gets the right side of Vardio. And then he cuts inside. Watkins, Rodgers, McGinn. Rodgers bundles into Bernardo Silva, but they both get straight back up on their feet. Pau Torres, we all know has a pass in his locker, as we saw from the pass out wide to Buendia, which led to the corner, which led to Villa's first goal. There's been another goal at Molineux, and it's Burnley again. Yeah, things are looking dire for Wolves. Things are looking very, very bad. But as I say that, Villa get a cross into the box. And luckily, it's sniffed out by Foden, who gets one out wide now to Savinho, who's one-on-one with Cash. Runs at him. Plays it inside. Oh, my days. There's literally no awareness. Bernardo Silva stood still in a decent amount of space, and Savinho still can't find him. Like, what's the point? What is the point? What's the point, man? Like, come on. This isn't too far off what I was expecting to see, but it's still a lot worse than what I was expecting from the boys today. There's no conviction in our game. And Haaland, other than his one chance, which he should have scored, he's not been in the game at all. And if that continues, it's going to be on someone else's head to score the goal today. And it just doesn't look like anybody is capable of doing that. Watkins has now just fouled Nunez. And we get a free kick and just outside Donnarumma's box. But yeah, this is not good. If we can get in still 1-0 down at halftime, I'd probably take that. But we just need like again, the defending of this corner that they're showing the replay of is woeful. Villa have had 2 corners and they've both been absolutely defended atrociously by City. But Foden's on the ball now. And he's able to run at Villa. He gets it to Bob. Bob now finds Nunez. Nunez now finds Stones. Stones again. Stones hasn't really got any options in front of him. Now it's Nunez. Nunez, Stones, Haaland even. And now it's Weinders. Weinders with space to run into. Players in front of him. One of them being Bernardo Silva. And it's offside. Never mind. That's just not ideal, is it? It just really is not ideal in the slightest. And what I'm seeing in an attacking sense from City here is absolutely atrocious. If I'm being completely honest, it is absolutely diabolical. And I'm not impressed in the slightest at all. So, got 10 minutes left, minimum of 10 minutes left of the first half. Martinez hits it long. It's met by Stones, or was it given us? Oh, it's offside. Yeah, so it's City free kick. Never mind. I was about to go absolutely through the roof there. I was about to. If we just gave away the ball that easily again, I was not going to be impressed. But City have the ball again. It's Bob. Now it's Nunez. But both our wingers need to get into the game. Again, like I said, both of them in very different ways. Savinho just needs to do something when he gets near the box. And Bob needs to find himself near the box. Because again, Bob's making good runs, but he never gets on the end of anything. And he hasn't really made anything happen. Whereas Savinho's tried to make things happen again, but he's just not, his end product's just not there. And now we've got Diaz just dilly-dallying on the ball as per usual. Now it's Foden. Foden cuts inside. Then turns back, finds Bob. Bob can run at Digne here. He's probably not going to. Yep, he's not going to. He finds Foden. Foden tries to play Stones. Just neither of them, again, look like they're on the same wavelength. But Nunez wins it back. We instantly lose it again, but we've won it back. This time, hopefully, we can keep it. It's now Savinho. Savinho to Vardiol. Vardiol loses the ball. Wins it back. That could be a penalty. Isn't. Savinho. Oh, it hits off Vardiol's hand and a shot from Foden over. That sums it up. That sums it up. Literally everything I just saw there from City was luck. We just kept bundling into people, not playing the right pass. Is this a foul? Ooh! If that's not given as a penalty, Rodgers is a very, very lucky boy because he's literally just pushed Vardiol over in the box. That could be a penalty. That could be a penalty. Obviously, I don't have. It's not going to be given as a penalty. Never mind. I don't have commentary on, so I don't know if they've cleared it or not. But they're showing the replay, and that very easily could have been a. What's the point? Reinders is now just giving away another easy foul. What is the point? What am I watching? What am I? Can somebody explain to me what I'm watching right now? Because I'm not even too sure myself. Yeah, that's a clumsy foul from Reinders to give away. Someone please explain to me what's actually going on my screen, because I'm in disbelief, because we're not trying to play football at all. There is no team chemistry in this game whatsoever for City. There is for Villa. Villa look very coordinated going forward. City, on the other hand, the complete opposite. And now here's Watkins. Cuts inside. Can shoot, doesn't shoot, cuts back. Now it's Digne to get a ball across the box. Blocked by Stones. Digne again. Now it's Sancho. Sancho back to Pau Torres, who finds Onana, who then tries to play a ball through to Digne, but is sniffed out by Bob. And now Haaland can go up the other end. He's out-muscled by Onana, and it's now Pau Torres, who finds Kamara, but it's out for a City throwing, I do believe. So again, we can try go forward one more time, and hopefully this time string a few passes together and not just clumsily bundle into people. Yeah, that's a penalty. In my humble opinion, that's a penalty. Gvardiol is on the ball, and Morgan Rogers has pushed him into the challenge of Kamara. What have I just watched? And that's going to be something you're going to hear a lot from me today, I believe, because this football is not it. Savinho loses the ball again. But oh, for fuck's sake, Savinho, I can't be asked. What am I watching? What am I actually watching? I do believe there's been a goal in the Arsenal game. Eze has scored against his former side, Crystal Palace, so Arsenal are 1-0 up. But this is... What is this? What? Someone please explain to me what is going on my screen right now. Savinho has been booked for that foul. Yeah. This can't go on like this. This is not enjoyable football. It's a good goal by Eze, to be fair. Nice Sancho. Digne. Onana. Cash is screaming for it, and why wouldn't he be? Because he's unmarked on the edge of the box. He then finds Kamara, who finds Watkins. Cash runs onto it again. Now it's McGinn. McGinn can cross it in. He does cross it in. It's out for another Villa corner. What is this? What am I watching? Like, the clumsiness of City in defence, in attack, and in the midfield. Like, we're just clumsy all over the pitch. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, another corner here to Villa. And they've scored from one, and they look to score from the second one they had. This one goes all the way across to the other side with McGinn now. McGinn gets a cross in. Haaland heads it clear. Foden's then challenged by Onana, and Onana wins it. Now it's Kamara. He's getting pressed by Bob, and he just goes straight back to Emi Martinez. And Martinez looks to hoof the ball forward. Is a City player going to be underneath it? No. But he plays out of play because Jadon Sancho couldn't keep the ball on the pitch. And 41 minutes into this game, still Villa 1, City 0. And City do not look like they want to put the ball in the back of the net. City don't look like they want to string more than 2 passes together, if I'm being completely honest. But we've got Gvardiol now. He finds Savinho, who's been running around like a headless chicken all game and got himself a yellow card. He gets it back inside to Gvardiol. So that's 2 complete passes that we've strung together. Now that's 3 because Gvardiol's found Stones. Now Stones finds Vinders. Vinders finds Haaland. And then it goes straight back out. But now it's Bob. Please run at Digne. Please, never mind. Don't run at Digne. This is... What? This is atrocious. This is really atrocious viewing here. And I wouldn't even say it's on Pep, right? The way the players are combining on this pitch is just looks like they met 20 minutes ago. Bob finds himself in the box, tries to find Foden. It's blocked, but Gvardiol brings down the clearance and City can still attack. Now it's Vinders. Vinders back to Gvardiol. Now it's Vinders again. Vinders to Savinho. Now it's John Stones. City again just passing it around the edge of the box. No space opening up. It's Foden. Foden whacks a nice ball out to Savinho, who then tries to keep... Oh, I can't be bothered. I'm losing my will to live by watching Savinho on the left wing. It cannot continue. I need to see Doku in the second half. Or Shirky, or anybody. I need to see someone that's not Savinho in the second half, because this has been diabolical. This has been absolutely diabolical. Foden presses Kamara. Again, Villa just want the ball a lot more than City. Other than John Stones is always there When on the odd occasion City do win the ball back, it is usually John Stones. So I'll give him that today. But other than that, no one seems to want the ball. Now it's Stones. Or they want it too much and they commit a foul. Stones tries to find Haaland. Beautiful interception there by Onana. Nunes is now ducking under the ball and almost being beat to... No, Nunes, what is that? Nunes has done his best Gerrard impression and slipped on the ball and allowed Watkins to run through. What am I watching? Like, seriously. This is dark. Dark stuff is happening on my monitor right now. We've got 1 minute of the normal time still to be played, and Villa are competently passing the ball around, something that I haven't been able to say about City in the last half an hour. Yeah, this is not good. This is really not good. We had them panicking in the first 10 minutes, didn't take any of the chances we were given, and then since then we've been second best in every single area of the pitch. Oh, okay. 3 of our players have just been taken out of the game by Luca Digne. And now he gets a ball all the way across to McGinn, who's not got any competition to the ball. Now it's Matty Cash. And now it's Onana. He whips one out to Jadon Sancho, who is completely unmarked out there because Nunes doesn't want to get close. Now it's Konza. How many minutes we got? 3 minutes added on of this first half, which I'd be happy if it just ended right now, because it's not getting any better for City, if I'm being honest. It's just not. Surprise, surprise, Villa have the ball again because City didn't want to get to the second ball after Diaz heads it clear. Vardy's now just giving away a foul, and Villa have another set piece on the edge of City's box. So this could easily be 2-0 because we've not defended set pieces competently at all this game. Is it a needless foul? Yes. McGinn does make a lot of it, but there definitely is contact, and it probably is needless contact. But yeah, you can't really complain. You really can't. The things could go bad for worse for City here on the stroke of half-time. You've got Matty Cash standing over the free kick. And McGinn. 2 minutes of additional time still to play. Cash steps over it. Are we even going to be able to successfully clear this? No, we are not. What am I watching, man? Somebody put that... I can't keep doing... This is some of the worst football I've ever seen. Because even last season when we were playing bad, right? Even last season when we were playing bad, we were able to string passes together. We weren't able to create chances, but we were able to string passes together. Unfortunate deflection for the goal, but hey... I wouldn't even say it was an unfortunate deflection. It was awful defending because it didn't need to get to that point. It really didn't need to get to that point. Whether that be when they are winning the corner and Nunes giving it away, or whether that be the corner itself. It never needed to get to that point. And it doesn't need to get to that point in many phases of... We've got Rodgers now running forward. He's played a beautiful blind pass to try to find Sancho, but luckily Nunes was there. He's passed it back to Donnarumma, who's made an absolute hash of the clearance here, and the chance is still alive for Villa. McGinn gets across him, but is headed down by Diaz. Savinho tries to run it out, and he's not going to because he's getting boxed in. Oh, he plays a good pass to Haaland, to be fair. Haaland's then fouled by Ezri Konsa, but he gets back up. Vinder's now with it. He needs to find a pass. He needs to find it quick. Foden dances in. That's a foul. That one's a foul by Pau Torres. Now you've got Diaz getting ready to take the free kick quickly. And again, look, they're just happy. Villa are happy to break up the game when we're trying to counter. Whereas we weren't looking to do that. We were not looking to do that. And now the halftime whistle has been blown, and it is Villa 1, City 0 going into halftime. And that was and a disgraceful first half performance. Like, I am in disbelief at what I've just watched. If I'm honest with you, in absolute disbelief. But you know, you guys are more than welcome to give your first half thoughts in the chat, because I don't even really know what to say. I actually don't know what to say. It was so bad across many different phases of play that there's not even one person I can point the finger at, right? If I'm gonna say that anybody's played well in this game, it's probably John Stones. I think Nunez's decision making has been awful. I think Savinho is put in one of the worst 45 minutes I've seen on that left wing, and I watched Julian Alvarez play left wing at Anfield. It's been an awful performance from Savinho. Oscar Bob is too timid and he's not looking to run at anybody or make anything happen. Foden just looks disinterested. If Foden's like not picking up the ball and running with it and running at the defenders, he can't be bothered. The amount of loose balls he's just let slip back into Villa's possession because he just can't be bothered to make the effort to track back and get it. Because the ball's probably like 2 yards behind him. And he's like, I'm not making the effort for that. Someone else can pick that one up. Bam, Villa are able to counter attack. Yeah, it's just not great. It's just not good whatsoever. It's just not. Haaland should have buried that chance he had. Yeah. It's just not been. This has been atrocious. Yeah, this has not been good. I'm trying to get some. I'm trying to see if anybody has any like contradictory points to me on Twitter, but it all looks to be the same. Like, I just. Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone have anything different from what I've had to say. Um, that's unfortunate. I was hoping someone would be able to beam like some positivity, some optimism into me, but this, I'm just not having fun. When does the fun start in this game? Is it going to be a better second half? Let's look at the bench. Let's look at the options we've got on the bench, right? And who can be brought on to save this game. Well, for starters, I think Doku needs to come on for Savinho as soon as possible. I wouldn't be against Cherki coming on, or Marmoush really, but I just know somebody needs to replace Savinho, and I would probably want it to be Doku, because Savinho cannot keep getting away with what he's doing in this first 45 minutes. Bob either, right? Bob also can't keep getting away with what's going on the wings is absolutely disgraceful. Wolves have, excuse me, Wolves have equalised. Wolves scored 2. Now what is going on? What have I missed? Who scored for Wolves? Let me check that. I was literally just tweeting, and then I see on my screen that Wolves are 2-2. Who scored? Oh, Larson scored a penalty. Yeah, okay, that's fine. But no, this is not gonna. I need to see something in the second half. Someone needs to step. Someone that's not Haaland needs to step up and score now. Because if Haaland ghosts and doesn't score today, you can't be mad at him because of all of the contribution that he's put in across the start of the season. But if nobody else wants to step up, then we've got a huge issue. Because Haaland is allowed off days. He is. You can't perform at the level he's been performing at every single game. It is actually impossible. Even in the treble winning season, he had off games. He had games where he didn't really make much of an impact. But players like Mahrez, people like De Bruyne, Foden, Rodri were happy to chip in with goals. Nobody's doing that now. Nobody's doing it. Someone needs to step up and score. Somebody that's not him needs to step up and score. Because even if we do win this game 2-1 and Haaland bags a brace, what have we solved? Nothing. We get the 3 points, yes. We've come back from a goal down. But if Haaland scores a brace and we win 2-1, what have we achieved? Nothing. Oh, I just made a typo on that before I tweet that out. Let me change that. This is just, I really do hope to be proven wrong in this second half, but what I'm seeing so far is just. I'm just in disbelief. I'm still really just in disbelief of what's just occurred. Like, I don't really even have any analysis because I've given it all. I don't think there's much more I can say on the first half without just sounding salty and sort of disgruntled. So I'm just trying to keep it, semi-rational. But I don't think there's much I really have to say that's gonna be of any use to anyone. Because, like, it was just embarrassing. If someone can come in the chat right now and tell me one player that has impressed and looked like they wanted to do something to make something happen, right? and actually got out of second gear and tried to play some football, I would be astonished if one of you could tell me, because it's just not there. There's nothing of any use happening out on the field. But hey ho. What's the point? I'm gonna try to stay a bit optimistic for the second half, but if we get into the 65th minute, and I've not seen any change in how we're playing, I will start to get very, very agitated, because it's just not good enough, is it? It just is not good enough at all. Again, I'm not seeing anyone here really um, this changing my mind on what I've seen. Everyone seems to be in very much sort of similar sort of mindset about this game than I've been, and it's just Savinho does need to come off. I think probably Doku has to come on for him, and I think I'd probably introduce Shirky into this game as well, because he's a risk taker, and I need someone that's going to take risks. And yeah, I know some of you are going to say Savinho is a risk taker. Yeah, he's taking risks, but when has one of those risks that he's taken paid off? So there's like a difference between being a risk taker that's going to change a game and just being a risk taker. Like, I could say I'm a risk taker by just stepping out in front of a bus, right? But if I get hit by that bus, then, I've just taken a risk for literally no reason other than putting myself in the ICU. And that's basically what Savinho is doing. The risk Savinho is taking is stepping out in front of oncoming traffic. That's what he's doing. He's not risking his life running into a burning building to save a family member. He's stepping out in front of oncoming traffic. That's the best way I can sum up his risk taking. Is not good enough. And then Bob, he's not even taking the risk. He's not, he's stood there on the side of the road. He's too nervous to cross the road in case he gets hit, and he's just watching the house burn down, waiting for someone else to run in there and be the hero, because he's not taking any risks, right? So I'd happily see Doku and Shirky come on this pitch. Will they both come on? Probably not, but one of them needs to come on. And honestly, even though he's doing stuff on the ball, I'd probably say Savinho's the one that needs to come off, because I think what he's doing is at more a detriment to the team than Bob not doing anything. Because I wouldn't say Bob's done something that's led to Villa, going on the attack and sort of countering us. He's just done nothing. Whereas Savinho's done stuff that's actively harmed the team, like giving away stupid fouls and getting booked. It's just not good enough out on the flanks. I'd probably say the fullback positions haven't been good enough. Vardio has clearly forgotten how to play left back, because he's always tucked in as a third centre back. And McGinn and Cash have so much space down the Villa right hand side. Nunes, I still can't get over the fact of watching Nunes let the ball bounce over his head and then try shield it away from Watkins and he slipped over. Like, what's the point? What's the point? And even if, we got that penalty, right, that I think should have been a penalty from that foul from Rodgers, right? What does that actually change? Nothing. Because it would be 1-1, probably. Well, I mean, there's not even a guarantee it'd be 1-1, because there's not even a guarantee Haaland would have scored it, right? But there's a potential it would have been 1-1, but we still would have been playing awful football. And Haaland, again, as well, he should have scored that chance he had after Villa took the lead. So everybody needs to up their game in this second half. Literally everybody. Nobody is above criticism. And that's how bad it is, because usually when we're playing bad, there's at least two people that are above the criticism. Right now, nobody's above the criticism. It's just appalling in every phase of play, and something needs to change, right? I don't know what that is. I don't know if Nico is able to play any minutes this game. Because if we're going to bring on a midfielder, I'd want it to be Gonzalez. If I have to sit here and watch Kovacic play football, I might just sit in silence and face the wall. If we're still 1-0 down and I watch Kovacic come on, the rest of the watch long is me turning my chair around and staring at that wall, because I don't want to see that. If I watch Kovacic come on this pitch before Savinho comes off, I'm staring at the wall, and that's what you guys will be watching. You guys will be tuning in to watch me stare at the wall, because I'd rather do that than watch Kovacic and Savinho on the same pitch in this current match setting. We need a difference maker. Kovacic is not a difference maker. And I have worries that he will be the first player to enter this pitch, ahead of Cherki and ahead of Doku. So, stay tuned for the potential of me just staring at a wall for 40 minutes. So, well, it'll probably be 30 minutes, 30, 25 minutes, something like that. But come on, we're about to start the second half. I need to actually get my thingy up and ready for this second half as Villa get us underway. Groundsman is still on the pitch. And Villa get us underway. We're now in the second half. Still Villa 1, City 0, and hopefully we can see a different City come out in this second half. I highly doubt it, but you can always dream, can't you? You can always hope. You can always have some hope. Villa beat our press first of all. Now it's begin. Vardio has committed a foul already within 19 seconds of the second half, kicking off, because we've forgotten how to commit a clean tackle. It's just foul after foul after foul, and they're stupid fouls to give as well. Not for the ref. I mean, for us to give away. Actually, Villa tried to play a ball in behind, but Watkins is offside, so it goes all the way to Donnarumma, and City can sort of play out from the back here and try to get our first bit of sustained possession in this first half, in this second half even. Obviously, no changes have been made for either side coming into this second half. The only substitution that's been made is still Buendia coming off injured for Sancho. Now we've got Silva. Now it's Savinho running at Cash. He gets the crossing. Bernardo Silva takes an absolute donkey touch, and Villa are able to get it clear. Now it's Diaz, Vardiol, even Watkins is on the floor. He's now slowly getting up as he realises the ref's not going to stop play. And now it's Savinho. He passes it to Diaz, who finds Vinders, who finds Foden out on the right side. Foden to Vinders again. Vinders to Bob. Now Bob, please run at Digne, run at him. He tries to run at him, but Digne tackles him well, and City get a throw in. What actually happened with Watkins here? I know he goes in for the tackle on there was never a foul on Watkins. If any, it's just clumsy. Foden! It's deflected out for a corner. Oh, it cuts back to Foden in the box, and I'm thinking he's about to pull the trigger and score, but he doesn't. He sort of, let's actually see what happens here. Yeah, he's in acres of space. Digne and Onana have not communicated, left him in a lot of space, but his shot deflects off of Consus. City get their first corner. It's whipped in by Foden, and it's headed clear by a Villa player, and now City get a second corner. Hopefully this one can be a bit better, but there is a quick break in play because Onana's holding his face. I'm guessing the ball hit off him when it came in. Yeah, or kind of. He's headed it, and then he's knocked his sort of right eye on Bernardo Silva. But Foden whips in the second corner. Someone's been bundled over at the back stick, and it's being headed out or given as a foul. I'm not too sure which. Something's happened in the box that's not went City's way, because when does City ever want to be dangerous from a corner? So yeah, Villa get the free kick. Lovely, lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. This is the lowest amount of shots that we've had, or the joint lowest amount of shots we've had in the first half this season. Vardiol's just absolutely taken McGinn out of the game. It doesn't matter because Rogers still has the ball because we just don't want to get it clear. Nunes knocks it down for Foden. Foden does a nice backheel pass to Vinders, and he's got space to run into, and he has runners ahead of him. Bob needs to get up quicker. Vinders takes... Oh, Mike, stop doing that! Please! Please! I can't keep watching Vinders shoot. I physically cannot keep watching it happen. Because he drives with the ball very, very well. And then he takes a bit of a bad touch, which forces him into sort of a confined space in between Pau Torres and Onana. And then he just hits the most tame shot wide, and I just can't be bothered. Like, it's at the level of watching Kyle Walker shoot. And I just can't deal with it, man. McGinn brings the ball down from Martinez. Vardio brings him down, but it's not being given as a foul, and now it's Bernardo Silva, who plays the ball out to Savinho. It's almost intercepted by Konsa, but it bounces over his foot. Now it's Vinders. Vinders finds Vardio. Vardio to Nunes. Now it's Foden. Foden finds Nunes. Now it's Ruben Diaz. Now it's Nunes with some space to run into. Is he going to look to get the cross off? He is. And you'll never guess where it's ended up. If you guessed Emi Martinez's gloves, you would be correct. So again, Villa just sitting deep, which obviously you'd expect them to. They're 1-0 up at home against a team that can't break down a low block. You'd expect them to sit deep, and that's exactly what they're doing, and you can't blame them for doing that. Looking to hit us on... Because we can't break down a low block, and we can't defend in transition. So what are you going to do? Sit deep and wait to counter and extend your lead. That's a smart thing to do, and it's exactly what Villa are doing, especially at a ground like Villa Park, which City don't have much luck. Bernardo Silva, please stop doing that. It's just amateur football, really, from City is what I'm watching. Very, very amateur football. And I'm not enjoying it whatsoever. Oh, no. Turns. Passes it off to Sancho, who can run at Nunes for the first time, but he does have Digne on the overlap. But Sancho decides to cut in. He's tackled by Foden, but he gets the ball back. Now it's Digne. Luca Digne smacks across into Nunes, and it goes out for another Villa corner. Which I'm not excited to watch, if I'm honest. But hopefully we can defend our set pieces better in the better in the second half. And hopefully we can defend set pieces better than we can take set pieces. Because those first two Foden corners were not great, were they? Here we go. Digne again. It's Matty Cash this time stepping over the corner. So we don't have him lurking at the edge of the box. We just got Digne, who is also capable of hitting one from distance. Cash whips it in. Was that Digne that ran onto it as well? Oh, Nunes, man, give over! We have the chance to counter-attack, and he plays it straight into a Villa man. And you had time to run into more space and wait for people to run ahead of you. But you rushed it. Now it's Diaz. He gets it to Bernardo Silva. Now it's Vardio. Now Vinders. City's still pinned back in our own half. Not really many options forward to pass to. So Vinders has to go sideways to Nunes. Foden out on the right with Oscar Bob, who's again been absolutely non-existent in this game. But here he is on the ball now to prove me wrong. Here's Bob. No, he just passes back to Nunes, who now finds Vinders in a bit of space. He turns, passes to Vardio, who was not in a good enough position to sort of receive that ball. Vinders now goes to pass to Bernardo Silva, who was offside. And now Kamara can come forward with the ball, and he passes to Watkins, and Vardio has committed another foul. And this time he will go into the book, I think. Yep, he does. Brings down... Or is it Vinders? Who was that Vardio? It was Vinders who goes into the book for a clumsy foul on Watkins, and that's again not the first time I've said that. This Vinders game in the sixth position really is very worrying. Is very, very worrying. Look, I've defended Vinders from a lot of criticism he's got while playing as the 8, but this performance in the 6 is actually defensible. Villa take the quick free kick. Now it's Cash. He just runs into Savinho, and now Savinho's got time on the ball, passed it out to Bob, who gets it back to Nunes. Nunes runs into the centre of the pitch, gets it out to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva's out by himself on the right-hand side and has to play it across to Diaz. Now it's Vardiol. Vardiol has Savinho and Vinders waiting for it. He passes it to Vinders, and now it's Nunes. Nunes finds Bob, who's now back out on the right side. Again, doesn't run at the defender at all. And that's kind of what I'm finding the most worrying. We're not running at anybody. We're just running into space. We'll only run into space. As soon as it's time to take someone on, it's no cut back pass, keep the ball. But we're not even good at that because the pass is always sloppy and we end up giving away possession. Savinho tries to run at Cash and runs straight into him instead. So actually, you know what? Scrap what I just said. Don't try run at anybody because you clearly can't do it. Now it's Nunes. Diaz. Foden. Now it's Nunes. Shirky, I want to see Shirky Bro on this pitch. He might be able to make something happen because nobody in this starting 11 is looking to make anything happen. Now it's Vardiol. Gets it to Nunes. Nunes out to Bob. Is he actually going to run at Digne this time? No, he's going to cut back inside and pass to Nunes. What's the point? What's the point in being a winger if you're not going to take anyone on? Like, what's the actual point? Too many wingers nowadays are shy and timid when that's not even what you're meant to be as a winger. Foden to Haaland, bad pass to Haaland, really, really bad pass to Haaland. He's absolutely just hammered it at his feet and he wasn't able to control it. But we're back out now to Savinho. Vinders, Foden, cuts inside, it gets it to Nunes, who scored last time we played Villa actually, a nice late winner that helped us secure Champions League football, which was assisted after a moment of brilliance from Doku, who definitely should be on the pitch by now, because we're 56 minutes on the clock and I've still not seen anything of any note from anybody on the pitch really. Foden now, Stones, Nunes, Diaz, Vardiol with one of the worst crosses I've ever seen. Like, what's the point, man? What is the point? Villa now have the ball around the back. Oh, almost just knocked the game out full screen there. But now it's Digne. Sancho runs straight into Bob, but he gets Bob does come away with the ball. He gets the beating of Onana, and then he gets bundled off the ball by Onana. This really is the story of the game, isn't it? Vardiol steps in, wins the ball back high. And now it's Savinho. Savinho has to cut this one back. And he does, but Conce's there to intercept. Very good from Vardiol there to win the ball high up. Obviously, Haaland goes to make the run that Savinho makes. Quickly decides against it. Vardiol doesn't have enough time to allow him to attack the space. So has to go to Savinho. Savinho's only got one option to cut it back. So it's going to be pretty easy to read, and that's exactly what Conce does. But City do have a corner, and hopefully this one doesn't go straight at Emi Martinez. Make sure my phone's still up. Yeah. Corner comes in. Yeah, no one gets there in front of a Villa player, but Savinho still has it. He passes it to Nunes, who finds Savinho again. He's got Foden out there with him. Now it's Nunes. Someone do something. Foden. Savinho. It's got the beat. Should have the beating of Cash. No, never mind. Never. All right, we are making subs. Gonzalez is coming on, O'Reilly's coming on, and Doku's coming on. Not exactly the players. Like, why are we bringing O'Reilly? The other two I get, but I don't really get why we're bringing O'Reilly on. Yes, he's good. He makes good crosses, right? But I like O'Reilly, but right now I think I'd rather have Shirky come on the pitch than O'Reilly, given the state of affairs right now. But the corner comes in again. This time it's Diaz that gets there first. Now it's Vardio. Vardio puts another cross in. Run onto it by Savinho. Savinho! Pau Torres is there to basically clear it off the line. But we're getting chances now. We're getting chances. That was some decent play there by City. Very, very unlucky not to score. But we're getting some rhythm into this game now. Vardio obviously plays a cross across the box. Cash heads it clear. Only as far as Savinho. Hits it one time. Hits Onana. It gets the second. And it's creeping in. But Pau Torres is able to react quickly and put it over the top of the bar for another City corner. Yeah, he had Emi Martinez beaten and he was saved there by Pau Torres. I'm going to guess the subs are being made with the amount of times they've shown this replay. No, we're just setting for the corner. Just took what was set for the corner, but it's Foden now whips it in. Vardio and headed over. Right. So we're in the hour mark and we're finally starting to create some more chances. And now the subs are being made. O'Reilly comes on for Stones. With Stones the one I'd bring off? Probably not. I'd probably bring Diaz off if I'm honest. But Stones coming off. And he's not coming off injured for once. Bernardo Silva comes off for Nico Gonzalez. And please be 26 coming off for... Actually, no, it's Bob coming off for Doku. So we've still got Savinho on the pitch, right? But Doku's on. Bernardo's off. Meaning the Viners can sort of sit a bit further forward now with Gonzalez on the pitch. And now it's time to get ourselves back into this game. I'm going to quickly have a quick check of the scores around the grounds quickly before Martinez kicks this one out. Nah, it's still the same everywhere else. As it is here. As we've had no score updates here. But we have Digne coming forward. Now Sancho. No, it's Onana. Kamara. Now it's Cash. Cash plays the ball over the top of O'Reilly. Rodgers gets there before O'Reilly. The cross comes into Watkins and Diaz gets there first. And that should be a corner, I think, to Villa. Oh, he was offside. He was offside. I believe he was offside. So is that being given as offside? Not too sure. Ooh, that landing on Diaz's shoulder does not look comfortable. As someone that suffers from frequent shoulder dislocations, that landing, ugh, awful. But it is a corner to Villa. Digne out again to take it. Ugh, no, I didn't like the way he landed on that. That was. Ugh. I land like that and I'm straight in A&E. It's not good, not steady at all. Villa again from the corner. Cross comes in from Digne. Haaland heads it clear. Only as far as Kamara, who gets it out to McGinn. He's pressed by Savinho and he goes back to Kamara again. Furthest Villa player, but oh no, he's not. Matty Cash is back there with him as well. Plays a hopeful ball forward to try find Digne. Nunes beats him to it and now it's Doku. It was first touch of the ball, first chance to get the ball forward, sizes up Onana, his international teammate, plays a nice ball into the pocket for O'Reilly. O'Reilly comes in, passes it to Gonzalez. So all of our subs have now had a touch of the ball in one phase of the play. Nico gets it to Nico, and now it's Doku again. Doku runs at Cash. Looks to get the better of Cash, plays it inside to O'Reilly. O'Reilly takes too much time on the ball and is pickpocketed by Rodgers, and now here comes John McGinn. Instantly brought down by Gonzalez, and I don't believe that's a foul. I do not believe that one's a foul. That's a soft one to give. Out of all the fouls we've given away this game, I think that is the softest one I've seen. Like that one was soft. Villa have had 1 shot, 0 on target in the second half. City have had 7 1-shots on target. They've had 4 touches in our box, and we've had 10. But it still does remain Villa 1, City 0. Is it a foul? Let's look at this again. Soft. Very, very soft. I think that is very, very soft. Savinho and Nunes win the ball back off Sancho. He could have passed to Foden, but he goes back to Guardiola instead. Now it's Nunes. Nico was booked for that one as well, which is interesting. Now it's Savinho. Savinho tries to take it around Digne, and he puts it out for a City corner. Digne's been very, very good defensively for Villa today. Very, very good. And I've never really saw him as a defensive wing back, if I'm honest. I've always known him for going forward in his set pieces, but he's been very good defensively against Bob. With the little trouble that Bob tried to give him, he dealt with it well, and he's dealt with Savinho well there. Again, with the form they've both been in this game, it's not too difficult to deal with them, but hey-ho. Nico O'Reilly's played in by Doku. He tries to bundle the ball off Kamara. He can't. And now Villa try to play out with Matty Cash. Konsa hits one out to McGinn. McGinn's being pressed by Guardiola, and he hits it off of Doku to go out for a Villa corner. Oh, Villa corner, Villa throw-in. Sorry, my bad. That was a slip of the tongue. Is it still same score as everywhere else? Yes, it is indeed. As we approach this, as we edge ever so closer to the 70th minute, still Villa 1, City 0. We have sort of got into the game a bit, since the start of the second half, but it's still nothing convincing going forward, and we still do look shaky in transition, even with Gonzalez on the pitch. Villa play a long ball forward. Watkins is offside, leaves it, goes out for a City throw. Come on, lads. If we're gonna make something happen, we've got to do it now. There's O'Reilly. He throws it to Doku. Doku holds it up and tries to get the better of Cash, but Cash brings him down for a foul. And see, Doku's just making, his ability to just know when not to run at the defender and just to hold it and try hold the ball up is making Cash have to make a lot more decisions than against Savinho, where he knows every single time he's just going to run at him. He just needs to stand his ground. Foden. O'Reilly. Doku. He's now got a chance to run at Cash. Tries to cross it into Foden, but it's Pau Torres that gets there first. Now McGinn looks to put it out for a City throw-in. No, he doesn't. But he can't get the beating of Guardiola with pace, and it now goes back to Donnarumma. Now it's Diaz. Nunes. Now it's Vinders. And now it's Diaz. And now it's Nico. Now it's Vinders. Vinders with a poor pass into Foden, but Nunes wins it back, and now it's still Nunes. He gets it to Vardio. Now to Doku, who can run at Cash again. This time does get the better of him. Tries to get the cross in, and it goes out for a corner. Another City corner. We've now got a bit more height in there with Gonzalez and with Nico and Nico on the pitch. So hopefully we can make something of this one. Corner comes in, and it's Rodgers that can bring it out, and he gets a pass off to Sancho, and now Villa have the chance to counter, and now it's Rodgers takes it in his stride, kind of, and he's got time and space to run at City. He cuts back inside, finds Watkins. City now have numbers back, but it's still Villa in possession. Now it's McGinn, not even McGinn, sorry, Cash. Now it's Kamara. Villa just passing the ball, trying to keep possession, not wanting City to try get a break forward, which again always a smart thing to do. Villa have played this game very professionally, very, very well, if I'm honest. But it doesn't. City haven't helped themselves. Now it's Kamara, plays a ball out to Sancho. Nunes gets there first, but just plays it into Sancho's path into the box. Sancho cuts across. Sancho forces a save from Donnarumma. He should originally catch the first one. Doesn't. Falls back to Sancho, but Donnarumma makes up for his earlier mistake and makes a second save. Because look, Nunes forces the ball into Sancho's path. Sancho then gets the better of him down the byline. It's a good first save from Donnarumma. Probably should keep hold of it. Sancho then gets the ball back at his feet, and obviously Donnarumma makes the second save. Now Emi Martinez has the ball. So it doesn't look like we're going to see Shirky today, which is very disappointing, I think. Because we're 70 minutes in now, and he's not going to be given meaningful minutes, which again is disappointing, especially seeing as the fact that we've been chasing this game for majority of it. It now goes out for a City throw in there from a bad pass from was that Emi? I think that was Martinez. It's Diaz. Now it's Nunes. Now it's Savinho. Got Nunes. Now Nico. Now Doku. Tackled by Cash, but Doku gets it back. Now it's Vardiol, Foden, Gonzalez, Doku, Foden with the cross in, finds Haaland, heads it straight into the gloves of Emi Martinez. Can't stand playing against Emi Martinez, man. It's like when we used to play Leicester and they had Kasper Schmeichel in goal. They just save everything every single time. Not like that's a great header from Haaland, but it's just, you know, it's just what happens. Gonzalez wins the ball back. Now it's Doku. Doku cuts back, finds Nico. Gonzalez now tries to loft one in for Vinders. It's headed clear. Nunes wins it back. Now it's Vardiol. Now it's Diaz. Gonzalez, Vardiol, Doku, Gonzalez, Nunes. It's Nunes. Now it's Savinho. Nico. Gonzalez shoots. Blocked by a Villa player. I don't actually see who that was. City do win the ball back. Now it's Vardiol. See, Villa sat really deep now. Foden whips one out to Doku, who's had Cash isolated. Runs at Cash. Cash gets the better of it, and then it gets into the cross goes into Martinez's gloves again. So it's still Villa 1, City 2, 72 minutes played. Villa have the ball again, it's Mike Cash. Now Konza. No, who's fouled by Vinders. Once again. And it does not look like, as we edge closer towards full time, we're getting a Ross Barkley cameo, but we're not getting a Ryan Shirky cameo, and that's really sort of tells me all I need to know about this game. If I'm being completely honest. Is he subbing Sancho off? That's dark. So he's bringing off McGinn. He's bringing off McGinn. And Barkley's on. And then Sancho's going off. That's dark. That's dark for Sancho. That is dark. Sancho doesn't look very interested in talking to Unai Emery, and I can see why. But I don't think he had like too much. He didn't do too much since coming on the pitch, so I can also see why he's been taken off. But at the same time, I would feel disrespected if I came on as a sub and then was instantly subbed off. But hey, well, not instantly, but you get the you get the point. Now it's Watkins. Villa throw. Still Villa 1, City 0. Ryan Cherki is now coming on the pitch for number 4, Tijani Reinders. So he is primed and ready to come on for the last 15 minutes or so, if the ball goes back out of play. That's Torres. Plays it into Barkley, who finds Watkins, who finds Barkley again. Barkley turns and get pass off to Watkins. Watkins is through on goal. Donnarumma comes out, makes a great save. Great save. Very reminiscent of the one he made against Igor Thiago 2 match days ago. But yeah, again, the ball's played through and Watkins is in a foot race with Diaz, and you know he's going to get there. But Donnarumma comes out, smothers the ball, tells Diaz to leave it so the keeper can quickly sweep up and claim the ball. Yeah, wonderful save there by Donnarumma. And now it's Gonzalez, who whacks out to Savinho. Savinho back inside to Nunes. Nunes finds Foden, who then finds Gonzalez, who then tries to find Reinders. Reinders couldn't get there. Gonzalez wins the ball back. Nope, foul. Never mind, foul. Offside, even offside. Yeah, Nico's looked quality since he's come on the pitch, and it's a shame that he couldn't start. Because I think we'd be in a lot better position in this match if he was on for the full 90 minutes. Is he giving that as a foul? But yeah, Reinders now's come off for Cherki, and now this is hopefully he can make a difference in the short time he's got in this game. Diaz has completely lost the ball. Watkins comes away with it after 2 missed time challenges, one from Diaz and one from Savinho. And now Onana's on the ball. He's now deemed to have been fouled by Gonzalez, because every time Gonzalez goes in for a challenge, it seems to be a foul. O'Reilly with a very nice flick to stop the Villa counter. Now it's Doku. Doku inside to Vardiol. Vardiol to O'Reilly. And then O'Reilly to Doku. Doku has Foden inside of him, but he goes for Cherki instead, who gets it straight to Gonzalez, who goes to Vardiol. Vardiol tries to play one through to Foden, but it is intercepted and Villa can hit it clear. Now Diaz heads it down for Gonzalez, who then tries to head it down for O'Reilly. Villa come away with it. It's been put out for a Villa throw-in, I do believe. All the scores are still around. All the scores around the grounds are still the same. Obviously, the most important one is the one here where City are trailing 1-0 at Aston Villa. Now it's Donnarumma on the ball. Now it's Vardiol. Diaz. Vardiol. Gonzalez. Vardiol. Doku. Doku skips past one. Now it's back to Gonzalez. City going to score an equaliser. We need to score it now. Now it's Nunes. Now it's Gonzalez. Now it's Vardiol. Now it's Doku. Doku tries to fizz one into the box. It misses O'Reilly, and then it's cleared by Onana, who's played a very good game defensively. Obviously, I did single him out to being the one that was least press resistant at the start of the game, but his defensive play has been quality today. Him, Konsa, and Pau Torres have been exceptional at the back for Villa, and obviously so is Emi Martinez. Kamara's now just committed a foul on what looks to be Nico. What looks to be Nico G. No, it was on Foden. Yeah, that's a foul. Every day of the week. Foden over the free kick. Not really expecting much. Our set pieces this game have been atrocious. Goes short to Nunes, who then goes straight back to Foden, who goes out to Doku, who can run at Cash. He instead crosses it in, and no City player is able to meet it. Now Barkley can go up the other end. Foden's back to defend. Misses out on the ball. Is going to just commit a foul. And he's going to get booked. Is he going into the book? Yeah, there he goes. They've now booked him. 80 minutes played now. Villa 1, City 0. Yeah, the cross comes in and no City player gets there. It's Onana again that heads it clear. Now Villa have the chance to whip in a set piece, and they do, and it finds Watkins, who heads it across the box, but then Gonzalez gets it clear, and he plays it to Doku, and Kamara instantly commits the foul to stop him breaking away, and now he's booked. So Foden and Kamara both now in the referee's book. 80 minutes played, 1-0 Villa. Yeah, Doku was away. He was away. I don't like how we haven't. Shirky's touched the ball once since coming on. Just, yeah, this game's ending 1-0. I know there's still like 9 minutes to play, minimum 9 minutes to play, but this game's ending 1-0. It just is. Because we are attacking with zero urgency. And our best players on the pitch have been our substitutes. So, like, it just shows that you were never going to win the game with a starting 11 you put out. City throw in Nunes to Diaz. Diaz to Vardio. Vardio to Gonzalez. Now it's Shirky. No, it's Vardio. And now it's Doku. Doku inside now to O'Reilly. Foden shoots and it's blocked by Onana once again, who goes down holding his head, and as he should, to be fair. He's put his skull straight in front of that shot. The scores are still all the same around the grounds, and I can imagine this is how this game is going to stay, because it has been woeful. Daniel Marlon, and was that Ian Matson coming on, and Savino is coming off for Omar Mamouche. Matty Cash goal there again, so I'm going to guess it's Cash coming off for Maatsen. Yes, again a good finish from good finishing from Cash, but just awful defending for City all round really. Where's he staying on the pitch? I'm not really too sure. I know Nana's back up on his feet now. Just about 85 minutes on the clock, 84 and a half minutes on the clock, and it's still Villa 1, City 0. Now it's Diaz. Doku. Sees Shirky. Shirky plays a brilliant pass inside to O'Reilly. O'Reilly takes a heavy touch and Villa have the ball back. Cash whacks it clear, and that will be another City throw-in. So you've got number 11 Watkins coming off for Marlon, and I think that was 12 coming off for Maatsen as well. So I think that's Digne coming off for Maatsen. Yeah, it was Digne coming off for Maatsen. So you got Ian Maatsen. Is Ian Maatsen and Daniel Marlon coming on the pitch for Luca Digne and Ollie Watkins? Nunes. Here's Marmouche. Shirky. Nice ball into the box for Haaland. Once again cleared by Villa. Gonzalez takes an elbow to the face, but it's not given as a foul. Barkley could have played through Marlon, but takes a few extra touches and loses the ball at his feet. Now it's Foden. He's got Haaland ahead of him. Goes to play Haaland through. Shirky again blocked, and now it ends up in Emi Martinez's hands. Konsa, Onana, Martinez and Pau Torres have been exceptional today for Villa. Foden goes, tries to play Haaland, blocked by Konsa. The shot then, follow up, blocked by Kamara and in Emi Martinez's hands. And now it's Matty Cash, the goal scorer. He tries to play it to Marlon, but he misses the ball. And now it's Nunes, urgency to get forward. Now it's Gonzalez. Now it's Vardiol. Doku. Someone's got to make something happen. Doku. Vardiol. Diaz. Now out to Doku. Doku now makes his way into the box, crossed in, misses everyone, but it's now Nunes. He can go for another cross, tries to find Haaland, doesn't, and Villa can clear again. They don't, because O'Reilly wins the ball back. Now it's Foden. Not Foden, Gonzalez even. Now it's Shirky. Nunes. Diaz. Nunes. Nico G. Vardy or Doku. Skips past one challenge. Doesn't really have any passes on. Finds... O'Reilly gets the ball, goes to flick onto Vardiol, and it just ends up straight at Martinez's hands once again. What's the point? What's the point? Nico Gonzalez's nose is now rushing out with blood. he gives the thumbs up to continue. What a man! What a warrior, man! You love to see that, especially if he scores now. Nunez to Marmoush. Marmoush plays it across. Haaland! Offside. So Haaland's whacked his balls against the. Oh, that's got to hurt, and the goal's not even going to count. That's actually got to hurt, and the goal's not even going to count. Yeah, I'd stay down after that one as well. That's actually got to hurt. Where was the offside? Let's have a little look. Was Marmoush offside? Yes, he was. Fuck's sake. I thought we had a goal there. I thought Haaland had his goal. Wonderful cross, but don't show me a close-up of that. Don't show me a close-up of that. Oh! I felt that. That's... Oh, he's walking though. He's up and walking, which is a better man than me. I'd be off the pitch by then. Nico G's got himself cleaned up, and we're about to see what the fourth official's got to say. 6 minutes of added time. 6 minutes for City to get an equaliser. Nico G's been made to switch his shirt. Very unlucky. I thought we had our goal there, but it was a right call for offside. That one's also offside, surely. Is that not offside? Or was Diaz playing him on? Because that looked offside, but I wasn't looking at the whole line. So he may have been onside somewhere. Gonzalez back on the pitch with the last 6 minutes of play. We need something big, and we need it soon. Bournemouth win 2-0. Arsenal still 1-0 up. And so are Villa. Donnarumma needs to go out quick. Finds Gonzalez. Gonzalez gets cornered in by 3 Villa players, and now Kamara has the ball. He slips it through Gonzalez's legs, and now it's Malin. Forces O'Reilly to put it out for a throw-in. We've now only got 5 of the additional 6 minutes left to play. So this has not been good. Not been good whatsoever for City. Donnarumma. We need to make it happen now. As I've been saying for the last 20 minutes, we need to make something happen now. We are running desperate on time here. Diaz has Nunez running forward. Can he get to that before Rodgers? No, he can't, and it's going to be an Emi Martinez goal kick. 92 minutes played. I don't like this at all. Not a fan of this at all. Onana gets man of the match, and his dad probably is deserved. He's been an absolute rock defensively. He's thrown himself in front of absolutely everything. And Villa look to be getting this 1-0 win here, which means Arsenal will be staying top of the table. And extending their gap on everybody else. I hate going to Villa Park, man. It's never good, is it? It's never ever good. Gonzalez wins it back. Now it's Foden. Charging into the box. Foden tries to cut it back. Gonzalez blocked again. Now it's Diaz. Nunez shoots. Corner. Comes off Pau Torres. Corner to City. 3 minutes left. I don't know what Kamara was doing here. He ran himself straight into trouble. And again, the first one cross was blocked by Onana, and then the second shot blocked by Barkley. And then Nunez's shot is glazed over off the top of the head of Pau Torres. City corner. Oh, it was a goal kick even. Did that not come off Torres? Shirky fouled in the middle of the pitch. Well, now it's Nunes. Has Marmoush running ahead of him. Cuts back. Pass it to Gonzalez, who finds Shirky. Doesn't take a great touch, but he still has the ball. Now it's Vardiol. Now it's Doc, who skips inside one. Tackled by Marlon. Put out for a corner by Shirky. 2 minutes left, and Villa look to be seeing this out. This has been awful showing from City. Awful, awful showing. One minute on the clock, basically. 1.5 minutes on the clock. Vardiol has the ball. We need to pump this forward. We need to go forward. Oh, it's Shirky. Nunes. Shirky. Back to Nunes. Shirky. Whips a cross in. Haaland. You'll never guess where the ball's ended up. One guess. One single guess. Yep. Emi Martinez's gloves. The whistle goes at the Emirates. Arsenal win 1-0. And it looks to be the same here for Villa. $30 left on the clock. Diaz. Nunes. Guys, we're not going to score an equaliser playing the ball around here, are we? Shirky, Foden. Doku. Tries to find Haaland, and it ball ends up in Emi Martinez's gloves once again. The whistle's going to go now. There's been a goal in the Wolves game, and it's for Burnley. So Burnley win at Molineux after bottling a 2-goal lead. Lyle Foster goes on to score, and Villa win 1-0 here at Villa Park. Not good enough at all for City. Not good enough at all. Just not good enough in any phase of play there. Absolutely just disgraceful all round for City. What can you say? What can you say? What can you say? But thank you to everybody that tuned into today's watch along. I really do appreciate it. Although the the scoreline wasn't exactly what everybody wanted. I'm glad that you guys came and watched, and I think I should be live again next week, hopefully. But I'll let you guys know. But